All right, everyone. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know whenever you're watching this. Hello. We are back with another awesome, amazing, fantastic, phenomenal video. Super excited for this one. I've been having this one saved in my file, whatever, just saved
Notes.
for notes. There we go, notes. I've been having this saved in my notes for a minute. So excited to finally pull it up my notes and talk about it because I think it's really, really interesting, and it might explain some things that we see happening right now. Like it might give some context on what's going on because I feel like some people are just like confused as to like what's happening right now. And I think this might explain it a little bit, or it might just open more questions, which is not a bad thing either. So really excited. So we're going to be talking about ultra terrestrials. Ultra terrestrials are pretty much like what we vision as aliens, but this is like on a different level. Like this is like I don't know, I don't have a word for it, but it's like on a different level of what we can imagine aliens are. And so basically I stumbled upon this topic when I found Amy Eskridge. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She did pass already. There's been a lot of speculation on her passing, mainly because I mean she was really into like this stuff and like in researching like um experimental propulsion, anti-gravity, and like advanced like future tech and all that stuff. Like she was like a researcher and like and all of that. And so people say that the reason why she passed was because of the things that she knew and the things that she found out. And so people think that she was silenced, which is very unfortunate. I think a little bit before she passed, she was talking about, I think in like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, if anyone knows who Amy Eskridge is, I think you will know the interview that I'm referring to, but she's like on an interview with, on a Zoom call with someone. And I have like a little bit of a clip of that Zoom call, but not the part where she talks about like someone following her. So basically, her and her ex, they were living together, and they didn't live in like the nicest area, but it wasn't like super rundown either. But anyways, the reason why that's important is because they saw a Lexus, I think, outside, like a black Lexus, not a black Lexus, and it was abnormal because, like I said, they didn't live in that time in like a really nice area. So it was like, where is this nice car coming from, and why is it just like parked outside? So, anyways, somehow, some way, she figured out this car was basically following them, and she told her boyfriend like, "Hey, we should take a picture of the license plate." So they, oh, are you okay over there? Jeez, what's all that noise?
No. I was just adjusting my monitor.
Oh, okay. Okay. But as okay, so yeah, so I think as she was telling her boyfriend to like go take a picture of it, of the license plate, the person gets out the car, opens their trunk, pulls out a brand new license plate, takes off the old one, puts on the new one, and just kind of like tosses the old one to the side. And she was basically just saying like, yeah, you can take a picture all you want, but we got plenty of backups in store. Anyway, so that's just like a little bit of background of her. Her father used to work in NASA, and some people are saying that because her father was associated with NASA and like whoever else he was associated with in NASA might have had something to do with like Amy passing. I don't know. I don't know how entirely true that is. I do not know, but that's just like speculations I was seeing on like X and stuff like that. But take that with a grain of salt because I don't know how entirely true that is. So, like I said, in her last interview, she spoke about ultra terrestrials and, basically where they came from, kind of who they are and what they are. And we actually have a little bit of a clip with her talking about that, like I said. So, if we could show video one that shows her talking about it just a little bit.
Investor brings hell to our house 3 times. I was present for one of the times. I happened to be home from Seattle at the same time that Hal came over, and I sat with him in my dining room over there at the dining room table, and he was talking about ultra terrestrials. And basically ultra terrestrials are like, he talks about extraterrestrial. Extra implies that they're from somewhere else, from the outside. Extra implies they're from not here, from out. Ultra terrestrial.
They're from the dog.
They're not necessarily from the outside, they're from here. They look like you and me. They look like you and me. The ultra terrestrials, I think. Have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
Okay, so first, ultra terrestrials, the reason why they're different is because, like, extraterrestrials means that they are from outside of like, this world, okay? Extra outside, okay? Ultra, they are from here, but like from the future. Like she just said, from the future, but they're from here, like not from an external like galaxy or like far world or whatever. They're from here, okay? So that's what makes them ultra terrestrials. And they're us from the future. Me, you, him, her, everyone, yeah, us from the future, okay? So let's dive into the difference between the two, okay?
That's
So
that's a pretty common idea, especially with what people think the Greys are. That's something that a lot of people have said is that the Greys are some sort of future version of us where atmospheres deteriorated or they got into some sort of nuclear war. There's like heavy fallout, and that's just the way they ended up like mutating. So
yeah,
I've heard a lot of people talk about her on different podcasts. She definitely has come up quite a bit, obviously, with
right.
the weirdness around her death.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so basically, P-47s and P-52s are what are P-47 is present plus 47,000 years, and same with 52 is 52,000 years in the future, okay? But they're two different timelines, okay? Now, I need you to stay with me, okay? When I try to explain this to you, they're two different timelines, but they both exist at the same time, okay? But just like on different planes, levels, something like that. But they both of them, both of the
It's like
timelines exist.
that's like it's like the multiverse, the parallel. It's two universes running or two timelines running in tandem in parallel.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a time where it was like this, but then now they're going like this.
Yeah, major. They say that like major events cause a branch. So like in our timeline, if a nuke or something is dropped, that would split the timeline. Like
Right. They both exist at the same time, but they're two different like uh groups of beings that exist in these timelines. Okay, they're not the same. Okay, so P-47, like she said, are the ones who survived underground, and the P-47s are the ones that are known as the Greys. Okay, they're shorter. They're gray. Obviously, they lack a little bit of facial expressions. They don't really have much expression to the face. They're the descendant. Talking too fast. They're the descendants of humans in a timeline where they survived but like adapted to looking more alien-like than human-like. They don't look human like, they look more like aliens. But they were humans at one point, okay? But you know, obviously when any type of being animal has to adapt in a new environment, everything changes. The way you think changes, your skin changes, like literally everything. That's what you see in like evolution, literally. Like you you see like birds when like birds from like 100 years ago were this color because that's what matched in their environment. Now they're a completely different color 100 years later because they have to adapt. So that's basically what happened to us in this timeline. Is that, well, not necessarily us. I think people say that the P-47s are the elites who went underground, you know, like those underground bunkers that, you know, they're circulating a lot that people say that the elites are building for some type of crazy event to happen. Yeah, basically they're saying that they went in there, they couldn't come back up for whatever reason, so they had to just live underground, and now their complete body, everything changed, had to morph to being underground. Okay, I mean, obviously that would be a lot different. And I think also their eyes are bigger too, but of course if you're underground, no light, I mean, I would assume like your eyes have to adjust. Like, you know, you ever like turn the light off for some time, you don't, I don't think people notice it, but your eyes kind of like widen a little when there's like little to no light. And then when you turn the light back on, then your eyes like readjust to like going back more to like normal size. And so, but just imagine being in like the dark like for years and years and years and years and years. Your eyes will slowly start to like adjust to being able to take in more light in the darkness, okay? Because that's what it has to do to survive. So that's what it's doing. So basically, that's what happened to the P-47s, okay? And they are very robotic, apparently, very like database. They're not like emotional. So that's the P-47s. Now, the P-52s would be everyone who survived on the surface, which I'm assuming would be just regular people like you and me. Okay, somehow, some way, we survived on the surface. I don't know how. I don't know how, but we did. Okay, and we are more tall. We have skin that's a little bit more translucent. Not, I don't think we're like 100% see through. I'm saying we as if I'm a P-52. Oh my gosh. Okay, they are not like 100% see-through, but they're a little bit translucent. Okay, you can like see like their veins through light and whatever, but they look more human. They have like a more human face. Okay, they're not no not they're not so necessarily alien looking. Okay, they're more human looking, just like taller and a little bit see-through. Okay, and these ones, like I said, they're on a completely different timeline. And P-52s actually want to correct the timeline. They actually want to prevent whatever happens that causes the timelines to split and for them to end up where they're at and the others to end up where they're at, okay? They actually want to correct everything to ensure that humanity goes on a better path, okay? This creates some conflict, okay? Because the P-52s are basically trying to prevent us from going down the P-47 timeline. And if they do that, if they succeed in preventing us from going towards that timeline, then the P-47s won't exist. So the P-47s are like, no, we want to stay alive. We don't want to die. So they're trying to stop the P-52s. So just like imagine like two different timelines, low-key having a war with each other, but they're on different timelines, okay?
What, so isn't that flawed logic though? Because they already both exist in separate timelines, so but they don't exist in each other's timeline. So wouldn't that would not really matter? And that's kind of the idea behind those like multiverse theories, is that the things are actually both happening, but they don't really necessarily interact with each other.
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. They're not interacting with each other. Now they're interacting with us today.
Right.
Now.
But them coming back would just split the timeline again. It wouldn't affect their timeline because that already happened. It would just create a new split.
Right. No, okay, yeah. I agree. I totally agree. I think that if they do succeed in like trying to like, you know, prevent whatever happening from here, I think that their timelines will still exist, but they'll just create a third one. So theirs will be here, and then a third one will be created right here in the middle, which is, you know, the cause and effect of whatever they try to do. So that's what I think. But I think other people think that one would be eliminated because of things that are happening now. So if we turn left instead of right, then the P-47's existence will be eliminated.
And then,
or vice versa. I think that's what people think in like general.
well, I have another question then. How would it? So if there are 47 and 52,000 years, the 47s wouldn't even know because the 52s would be further along than they are. So they would just be at a different point on the timeline.
Yeah.
So they could, I guess, potentially even exist in the same timeline, but wouldn't the 47s know about the 52s in their own timeline?
True. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Totally. Hmm. Wow,
Like
what a
because
good
it's not like the 47 and a different 47. It's two separate points in time, and then our timeline, which is in the past. So
right.
would ending one of them not really affect the other potentially because they would have had what's like evolved at different rates in different places. So going back to the past doesn't really change much. And if anything, if they are on the same timeline, like if it's just a straight line and they're different plot points, coming back to mess with that would potentially eliminate their own timeline.
But no, I completely get what you're saying though. I'm thinking maybe they know that maybe there's like a limit to their existence. Well, there is. There is a limit to their existence. Which I will get into in a little bit. I think they're dying. The 47s. I think the 47s are dying, and that's another reason why we're seeing like some things happen right now. Because they low key need us to survive. But I think, if I can remember this correctly, but it's okay because I have it in my notes, so we'll go through it. But anyways, but yeah, like I was saying, I'm thinking that maybe there's like a limit to their existence, which is why they're like, if we fix it, then maybe we'll have a longer life. Maybe we won't have a limit, you know? Maybe that's their thought process. I'm not sure. This kind of goes into Project Looking Glass now. I feel like this um topic kind of like bounces around in like the conspiracy world quite a bit. I feel like people have heard of it, people know about it. Some people don't really know about it, but like they know the name. The name sounds familiar, which is kind of where I was at when I first found out about this. Like I heard the name, like it sounded familiar, but I've never like looked into it or like really knew what it was about.
Candace Owens was talking about it recently.
Oh yeah, she was with Charlie Kirk and all that, right? She was like tying
Yep.
it together or something. Yeah, she was. But yeah, so um Dan Burish, Burish. I think I've heard some things about him. Some people say he's trustworthy. Some people say he's not trustworthy. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I could find. Okay, so this is what we have. All right. So take it how you want. But basically, he claimed to have worked on some things in the deep state inside US project, whatever. I don't know, deep state stuff. I heard of that term too, but I don't really know what that means. So I try to use it lightly because I don't want to use it in the wrong term because I don't really know what it means. Um, but yeah, but basically what he was working on was Project Looking Glass, which basically allows like the elite people to look down different branches of like different timelines for different outcomes. So basically, it's like a computer pretty much. And so they type in like, I don't know, what happens if we do this? I don't really know exactly how they do it, but like, you know, trying to act like the magic 8 ball, like, hey, can we do this? Will this work out? and and the computer basically kind of like generates their answer and tries to like, you know, gives them the best possible outcomes or the different outcomes that exist based on what they type in or what they put into the computer. So it's like a supercomputer that can kind of predict the future based on a choice that you make right now. Okay. They noticed that the more that they used it, um, the more that the timeline converged. So like the more things that you try to put into the computer, the more and more the computer was like, okay, basically narrowing down the different branches, and now the branches are starting to slowly become like this. Oh my gosh, we're supposed to play that video at this part. Oh my gosh, I'm jumping ahead. Look at me being so smart. Jumping ahead. Okay, anyways, I have a video that explains a little bit about this. I think the video is only, well, the clip, it's like a long video, but I clipped like maybe like a minute or so of it to kind of explain like what I just said, basically.
The numbers that we received before the Looking Glass was shut down, dismantled, was that there would be a 19% probability with an 85% confidence that the disaster would occur, that there would be a transitioning from timeline 1 to timeline 2. But that then means that there's an 81% chance that it won't. And so the individuals who want to carry the negative, I'm convinced that it's going to occur, are not presenting the facts. The facts are, this is the material that we have available that we know.
So what you're saying is the Illuminati, to get back to that thread,
Yes.
is basically the side that believes that the transition is going to occur from one timeline to the other.
Not only do they believe that it will occur, they want to provoke it.
But how does it benefit them to provoke it? Why should they want to be P45s?
They don't. The living ones don't. They're looking at the P45s as a means to an end for them. They're not going to live that long. They're just going to live a normal human life and die. So they want the control for themselves. The fact that the P45s, that's how immoral these people are. The fact that the P45s are wanting us to, at their stage in their own development, have a disaster which justifies their own history, is being used as a means to an end by the Illuminati, who would like to see that the population is culled so that they could gain greater control. They don't care.
So, okay, so
They just
what?
want for themselves. There are really human beings that don't care, or that care that little.
So what you're saying is the Illuminati want the catastrophe to occur,
Yes.
so that a certain number, 3/4 is the number I've heard, of humanity dies. They
Well,
get the earth
history
to
reads
themselves.
about a little over 2/3. That's what the history
Okay,
of the J-Rods
2/3.
actually read.
All right, 2/3. And then what? I mean, they've still had to live through earth changes and cataclysms, right?
Right. But these people are also the ones who have their guaranteed positions in the safety zones, underground facilities, etc. And so they are presumed. It is not known for certain, that they are presumed to actually then be the progenitors, if you will, of the people who become the J-Rods. The history.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is, oh, also P45s is P47s. Okay, some people call them P45s, some people call them P47s, but they're both the same groups of people. Okay, so, but whatever. Anyways, so basically what he was saying, like I was just saying, that they see that the timelines merge and they're trying to avoid whatever happens when the timelines merge because they don't want that to happen. They're like, no, we don't want this to happen because then our P45, P47 existence won't happen. And like he said, they're trying to secure their lineage basically. They don't really, like they live a normal life now, but they know that in the future their lineage is secure as long as they do what they have to do right now. But like he also said, the likelihood of things turning out the way that they want it to turn out is small. Project Looking Glass was shut down because of what they saw happen in 2012. I know 2012 was such a major year for so many people because they're like, oh, something definitely did happen in 2012. That's what I hear a lot of people say. People said, I don't know, time changed, something happened in 2012 where now everything is so different now. I feel like I've heard quite a few people say that.
I think that was a psyop because
Mm,
they had the movie 2012. There was the whole Mayan calendar thing. They were really trying to pitch that.
right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that could all just be fake just to like scare people or whatever, or just to make people think things, make them confused or whatever. But that's what people said. So, anyways, in 2012 is when the timelines collapse. Okay, which is like I said, what the elites, whoever is controlling this, is what they don't want to happen. All right, and so this is when no matter what they do, um, nothing will change it. No matter what they do, they're like, nothing is changing what is happening right here. So apparently, this catastrophe is not really a catastrophe for us. It's only a catastrophe for them. Because actually, what really happens is we all learn the truth. We all have this great big awakening. We meeting common people, us, you, me, just regular, hardworking 9 to 5 people, all of us, we have like this great awakening that happens. And I don't know if that sounds familiar to anyone, but literally, Chris Bledsoe said the exact same thing about whatever he was trying to do with those orb things or whatever. He said we were supposed to have a great awakening. Was it last year? No, this year. This year.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Easter. Well, it was Easter,
Yeah.
but now it's October.
So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if we'll have some awakening that happens in October. But we're all supposed to learn the truth, and that's what happens, and it's a beautiful thing. But obviously, the higher ups, the elites, whoever, don't want us to have that. They don't want us to know the truth. They don't want us to be awakened. Awakened would cause the light to be shown in the dark, and they don't want that to happen. Okay, so this is what apparently they were trying to prevent. This is what they were working so hard to prevent. Okay, but like I said, no matter what they do, it just doesn't happen. It happens regardless of what they do. Okay, so apparently the P-52s want to help us. They want to help us, you know, get towards this awakening. They want to help us go down a different path and, you know, not go down the path that they go down. Like I said, they want us to have a different ending and not the one that they have. So they're here to help us, not to hurt us. Also, does that sound familiar to anyone? Chris Bledsoe said the exact same thing about his orb alien stuff. Okay. Oh, what is this?
Some picture I found. It's supposed to be with. Yeah, but I thought it was the other way. I thought the 45s were the smaller one.
They are. I don't know. This person got it wrong, but they are the smaller ones. The smaller, gray alien-looking one. That's the P-45, P-47s, and then the P-52s are the more taller, human-looking
Right.
ones. Like I was saying with Chris Bledsoe, what if the orbs that Chris Bledsoe is interacting with are P-52s? Like how you were saying in the last video, what if he's astro projecting in a way? What if he's astro projecting to them, or they're doing it to him and he's able to like talk to them? Like what if it's them? Because it kind of all relates. Like they're here to help, not hurt. That's what Chris said. Chris also said that we're gonna have a great awakening. That's what the P-52s want for us. They want us to have this great awakening because they want us to have this new beginning and not have the same ending that they have. So what if he's talking to them? that was my thought. Because like all this stuff, just like immediately I was just like, Chris Bledsoe. Like this is him, like all the way. Like what if, I don't know. Now I don't know. I can't explain the orb looking things. I can't explain that part. I don't know what that is. Maybe they send the orbs to him or something. Maybe they're not exactly the orbs. Maybe they throw it to him when they have like a new message or something that they want to say to him. Maybe they throw it to him or something. But unfortunately that doesn't explain the lady. I don't know who that is. Okay, I have no idea who that is. The lady, if you don't know, that's who Chris Bledsoe said that he can communicate with. And apparently the elites also want to communicate with the lady too, but she never wants to talk to them. And so when Chris came out and said like, hey, I can talk to the lady, they're like, oh my gosh, we need to talk to you because we need to know what she's saying to you and why she won't talk to us. So anyways, yeah, so I don't know who the lady is. It could be like a really big reach, but like I said, there was just like things that just sounded very familiar to what he was saying. So I'm like, what if they are related in a way? Like what if he actually is talking to them for the future? But I don't know.
Found some interesting stuff on that guy's post. I don't know if you went through this.
What does it say?
So I vaguely remember seeing this. This is from This was on the White House page. I feel like I do remember seeing this. It was kind of weird at the time. But they say our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. I want to say that had to do with the Venezuelan thing, because you remember when there was the Venezuelan war that lasted like a week, and then they went in there with this super advanced technology, and they had 10 guys, and they took on a whole army of a country, and they kidnapped their president, and nobody talks about that anymore. That just kind of vanished.
They just had a major earthquake, and people are saying that what happened from then connects in a way, but I don't know how entirely true that is.
It's like a drawing or a schematic of what Looking Glass is supposed to be or look like.
Ooh. Huh. That is not what I imagined it to look like. I don't know what I thought it would look like, but it's not that. So, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like some sort of thing, and then it fires on and you stare into it. I've heard of Alice's floor, but I'm not super familiar with that. This is from 2020. Kind of. Pentagon believes precog AI can predict events days in advance. That's kind of like Minority Report and that other movie that just came out as well. Same kind of thing.
Oh yeah, Odyssey. Oh, not Odyssey. Oh my gosh, I keep getting it mixed up. The other movie.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Me neither.
This I thought was kind of interesting. They're effectively old paintings are saying that what they painted, you know, how they used to paint the angels as like little children. They think those are probably more like grays, and they just covered it up for the painting, because obviously if you had little gray aliens, people would be asking a lot more questions.
Right.
And then this is what I found really interesting. This, because we have all sorts of these things. We have like the black cubes, these big spheres, and I think that's possibly it's an orb. You know, it's possible
Right,
alien
yeah.
craft. And then
Yeah.
it says, just ignore this, and he's standing on an orb right here.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Wait, but who is that?
I don't know. I'm guessing that's a religious painting. I don't know if that's supposed to be Jesus or what.
What?
I didn't listen to this, but it says Bledsoe, so I don't know if they're talking about Chris Bledsoe.
That's the only one I know.
Right.
Wow. That's interesting.
There's some really
Yeah,
cool stuff on that page.
Yeah. The black cube. It reminds me of that TV show. I don't remember what it's called again. But with the black box, remember on Netflix? Was it on Netflix?
Dark Matter. It's on Apple.
Oh, on Apple. Dark Matter. Yes, it was literally a black cube, and the guy goes in it and goes in different.
And it's just infinite universes, infinite possibilities.
Yes. But also, you have to set your intention before. So you go in the box, and before you open the door, you really have to set your intention on what you want behind the door. So if you have any type of fear or like anything within your heart or your mind, it'll show when you open the door. Like it'll happen in that timeline. So you really have to like really focus, set your mind on what you really want, remove any type of fear or like negative thoughts, and then you'll open like a pretty good timeline. So I would highly recommend people watch that, because
I feel like that show could be a full series breakdown on like all the conspiracy stuff and all the ideas behind it. That show's probably one of the better ones I've watched, I would say, in a long time.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like it could definitely explain some things if you like, if someone does like a breakdown on the show, it could definitely explain some things. Like I said, these beings on these different timelines, they need us. Okay, the P-52s, they need us. They need our DNA and they need our reproductive abilities. Okay, in order to keep going on in their existence. All right. So their DNA is dying. Okay, so I got it mixed up. I said the P-47s are dying. The P-52s are the ones that are dying. Well, P-47s, I don't know. They might be dying. I don't know. But this is the P-52s. This is what I'm hearing about the P-52s, okay? So they're dying. They need us to survive, which might explain some people who said that they were taken by some type of UFO or had some type of alien encounter, it might explain why they were taken, because they're running tests on people. They're running tests to see if their DNA can be used for them, because I'm pretty sure not everyone's DNA can be used. I'm sure some people have some messed up things in their bloodline that it's like, okay, we don't want to take that. Um, so they take certain people, kind of test them out a little bit. Maybe like for reproductive, they might test sperm count, egg count. I don't know how they're doing it, but that could possibly explain some people who have these encounters or say that they've been abducted in some way, shape, or form. That could possibly explain. Now, I also don't know what it looks like if they were to succeed in like getting a sperm and an egg and mashing it together and like creating a baby. I I don't know what that baby will look like. Like, would it look like you and me because it came from like a sperm and an egg from this time? So would it look like us, or will it look like more like them? Like, can they make it look more like them? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but somehow, some way, they're able to do it. Okay, I don't know how it works. So, oh, okay. So the reason why they need to continue on their existence is because, like I said, they're trying to fix today's time. So if they end up dying off, then they can't fix anything. Like I said, I feel like these like different groups of entities, beings, can kind of explain some of the things that are happening now. Like I think that I think I've been seeing like a lot of people say like, "Oh, I don't understand why we're going to war," or "I don't understand why this is happening. Like this all seems to like not make any sense. Like why are these different events happening? It literally makes zero sense." And so I'm thinking that these events are happening because of the P-47s, P-52s. Like I said, they have to make certain things happen in order for the timeline to go a certain way. Okay. Like, is it like the butterfly effect?
Well, the butterfly effect is Ashton Kutcher, and he can kind of he'll go back in time and he'll change something, and then he just like jumps around. So he'll go back, he'll do something different, and then he'll kick to when he's like in his 20s, and he'll be in a different situation. And he had it was like a notebook, and he was able to like read it, and he was like almost able to like transport himself back to that point when something happened. So he would like journal, and he was able to use that as almost a way to jump between points in time.
I don't even think it's necessarily our time right now. Like, I feel like they've been doing this for a hot minute now. Okay. Not even just right now. Okay. This could be like way back. I don't even know, like 500 years, 1,000 years. Like I don't know. This I feel like this is like a continuing. Oh my gosh, a continuing thing. Like it's not something that's just like only happening right now. So
Well,
yeah.
a lot of people think the splits happened at either one of 2 points. It's World War II when they dropped the nukes. Everyone thinks that's where the timeline's fractured and everything's spidered off. That, and or I believe when CERN fired off like their particle collider.
I didn't even know that they did. Okay, first of all, I didn't even know that they did a nuke in World War II. That's number one.
That's
Number
like the whole.
two.
That's literally the whole thing. The U.S. dropped the nukes on Japan.
Oh, okay, so that's what happened. You know what? My history teacher probably did say that to me in class, and I forgot about it. I had no idea. I don't know. You know, honestly, I feel like we really didn't touch on that too much. I feel like in history class they mainly talked about Pearl Harbor. Is that when the Japanese
That's
attacked us?
that's that preceded the nukes, but that was like right before. So the story is that's what got them involved in the war.
Mm,
But there were all the reports that they knew it was going to happen and they didn't do anything about it, and they kind of let it happen so they could enter the war. That's one theory.
oh, right.
So the nukes, and then CERN and their Large Hadron Particle Collider.
Yeah. Explain that for the folks who don't know. Because I don't know.
So CERN is a company, or are they in Sweden? So it's a nuclear research facility. Founder Switzerland. Founded by Switzerland, UK, Germany, France, and Italy. Founded in 1954. It is in Switzerland, which there's a lot of weird stuff about them. So they have this giant piece of machinery or technology, and they take like particles, like atom level particles, and they are shooting them into each other to see what happens. So like effectively what they say is the building blocks of the universe of humans, like down to the smallest measurable elements, and they're taking those at high speeds and shooting them into each other to see what happens. Now supposedly it rips open space-time or creates little mini black holes, and they're measuring the effects that has. So a lot of people have said once they fired that thing up, our timeline split or the world changed. Everyone started, things got different. So they think that's possibly Mandela effect and things like that. So what it's actually doing is rippling out and affecting our timeline.
Yeah, because what if the Mandela effect is really us remembering something from a different timeline, but it doesn't exist in this timeline anymore? Oh my gosh. What if that's it? Oh my gosh.
This is these are some pictures, but this is a statue they have in front of the building, and that's Shiva. Isn't that the god of destruction, goddess of destruction?
Oh, I think so.
Well, yeah, and that's weird that that's right in front of their building.
Yeah, that is weird. Wait, the CERN building. I was about to say, whose building is this? Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I don't think anyone really knows because, you know, they're I'm sure the people that are actually in there and work on it are not talking and probably get killed if they do. So,
oh, probably.
But there's a lot of sacred geometry, weird art.
Well, anyways, in conclusion, because we're actually getting near to the end of this, this is actually pretty quick. So, pretty good video for you guys. But still an interesting one nonetheless. I feel like this was quick but dense. So, like I said, I think this was a really interesting topic. And I think this could possibly open the door for more questions to come up about what's really going on. And like maybe people will even start questioning what timeline do we exist in. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for today's video, you guys. I really hope that you all enjoyed and found it interesting. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's video. If that was interesting, not interesting, cool, not cool, just let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe as well, and also follow me on X at SanayaX, and you can also follow me on Instagram as well, but I don't have any posts on there, but you can if you want to, just in case one day I do decide to post something, and that is at Sanaya Lane. Yeah, SNAIALANE. So yep, and I think that's pretty much it. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.